Alright, so Algebra 2, page 1124, we're going to do page 31. I'm going to go back and do examples from page 28 and 29 just because there's not many problems on here. And I don't want to do all the problems. I want you to do some on your own, okay? So, for this first one, what we're doing is solving these open sets. So, I need to move this 18x over, and I need to make this problem set to 0. Okay, so to move that 18x, I'm going to subtract it. There's not any like terms here, so it will just work out the way that it is. So I got 3x to the third minus, so that x squared is going to go before the x. 21x squared, 1x squared, minus 18x. So now what I do is I look at what is common between these. So I know that 3 is common. 3 goes into all three of those numbers. And also x is common because there's an x in all three of them. So I factor out 3x, and I end up with x squared minus 7x minus 6. All right, so that is as far as this will factor. It does not factor any more than that because since this is a negative, my signs are different, and I'm going to be subtracting. There is no factors of 6. When subtracted is going to give me 7. So this is as far as this goes. So what I do is I set 3x equal to 0, and then that whole problem gets set to 0. Okay? All right, so when I'm dividing these, in this one right here, I can't factor out that numerator like I did in the last checkup where I factored the numerator and I was able to cancel because of that x to the third. So what I'm going to have to do is reset this problem. And I'm going to get x plus 3 divided by negative x to the third minus x plus 9. All right. So when I do it this way, what I'm looking at is my first terms every time. Okay, so I'm going to do negative x to the third divided by x. And that's going to give me negative x squared. So up here I have negative x squared. I'm going to multiply that by this whole set, negative x squared times x plus 3. It's going to give me negative x to the third and negative 3x squared. Okay. So then I subtract, and when I subtract, it changes these signs. Negative x to the third plus x to the third is 0. That becomes, or that cancels. This x squared and this x I can't combine because they're not like terms. So I just bring down that positive 3x squared and that negative x. So remember, when I'm doing this division, I only worry about my first terms. Okay? So I'm going to do 3x squared divided by x. That's going to give me a positive 3x. So then I do 3x times x plus 3. So 3x times x gives me 3x squared. 3x times 3 gives me positive 9x. All right. So now I'm going to subtract. When I do, it changes my signs. These cancel. Negative x minus 9x is going to give me 10x. So again, just looking at my first ones, I have negative 10x divided by x. The x's are going to cancel. leaving me with negative 10. So now I'll multiply negative 10 times x plus 3. Negative 10x. I'm sorry, I forgot to bring down my positive 9. Negative 30. All right, so I'm going to subtract, which changes those signs. Okay, so these are going to cancel. That's going to leave me with 39. So I have negative x squared plus 3x minus 10, and my remainder is 39 over x plus 3. Okay. So your final answer on that is going to be negative x squared plus 3x minus 10 plus 39 over x plus 3. Okay, so we're going to move on to one of the problems on page 29. This one is more like the one on the last checkup that we did, where you can factor out your numerator and then you just cancel with the denominator. So my factors of 15, 1 and 15, 5 and 3. Factors of 14 are 1 and 14, 7 and 2. Well, since I have 3a plus 2 over here, and I'm kind of counting on them to cancel, I'm going to use 5 and 3 and 7 and 2. Sometimes it just spells it out for you. All right, so this sign is a negative, which means my signs are different. This sign is negative, which means my larger number needs to be the negative. So now I have to decide, how do these multiply together? Do I multiply the 5 and the 7 and the 3 and the 2, or the 7 and the 3 and the 5 and the 2? How do I do that? So I hope you said that we were going to do crossways and do the 7 and the 3, because 7 times 3 is 21, 5 times 2 is 10, and when you subtract those, you would get 11. So what I need is for this 21 to be my negative number. So I need either the 7 to be negative or the 3 to be negative. Okay, so either 7 and 3 go on the inside, or 5 and 2 go on the inside. Since I put my negative here, when I multiply my inside times my inside, that is what's going to be negative. So I need 7 and 3. So 7's going to go here because the 7 goes with the 14. And the 3 goes here because it goes with the 15. And then put my A. And then I just place the other two. Also, was pretty easy to figure out since I was attempting to get 3a plus 2. So those will cancel, leaving me with 5a minus 7. And that is your final answer. All right, so this one is like one of the ones in that last checkup, but I didn't want to do it. I want you to be able to do one on your own. And this is the example. It was the only one that was really like that one that's in the checkup. So the first thing that I want to do with this is I want to rearrange it and put it in correct order. So correct order is highest exponent to lowest exponent. Alphabetical order, and then highest exponent to lowest exponent. That's a terrible 5. Okay, I'm going to rearrange this one too. The x goes first, and then the negative 4. Okay, so again, I'm going to factor out this numerator. Only factors of 5 are 5 and 1, and I only have x in that first one, or x squared, I mean. So I'm going to have 2 binomials, and I know that I am attempting to get a x minus 4. Okay, so this right here tells me that both of my signs are the same. And this right here tells me that that both the signs are negative. All right, so now when you look at this and you see that both the signs are the same, when you do your full method, do you end up adding these or subtracting them? So you end up adding them, and the only factors of 5 are 1 and 5. So if you were to subtract 5 from 1, do you get 1? And the answer is no. So we have to set this one up like we did that other one. We're going to do x squared minus x plus 5 and x minus 4. All right, so x goes into x squared. X times x is x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. I'm going to subtract, which changes my signs. That goes away. Negative 1 plus 4 gives me positive 3. Bring down my 5. X goes into 3x 3 times. 3 times 3x times x is 3x. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Subtracting, which changes my signs. 5 and 12 is 17. So 17 over x minus 4. So your final answer on this is x plus 3 plus 17 over x minus 4. So if this 17 ended up being a negative instead of a positive, then that sign right there would be negative. Otherwise, it's a positive sign. Unless your remainder is negative, that sign stays positive. All right. This video should help you get through that. The 3 videos that I posted for this should help you to get through the checkup, through the self-test as well. If you have any questions, let me know.